Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into one of the most significant developments on NATO's eastern front. Estonia, one of the smallest nations bordering Russia, has quietly turned its skies into what experts are calling a deadly trap for any potential Russian incursion. In recent months, Estonia has made strategic moves in defense technology, air surveillance, and drone warfare that have completely transformed its military posture. While Russia may still possess a larger military force, Estonia's new approach relies not on size, but on intelligence, coordination, and lethal precision. This is a story of how a small nation is preparing to face a giant, and how its skies are now among the most dangerous in Europe for any invader. Estonia's transformation began with an urgent realization. After witnessing the full-scale invasion of Ukraine, Estonia understood that traditional defenses alone wouldn't stop Russia's aggressive tactics. Instead of focusing solely on tanks and troops, Estonia invested heavily in network defense systems, advanced radar arrays, electronic warfare units, and drone integration platforms that could instantly detect, track, and neutralize enemy aircraft or missiles. The goal was not just defense but deterrence. Estonia wanted to send a clear message to Moscow: if you cross this border, you'll be entering a sky you cannot survive in. Over the past year, Estonia has worked hand in hand with NATO allies to build what some analysts call the Baltic Sky Shield. This system combines the radar coverage of Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania with real-time NATO surveillance from AWACS aircraft and satellite feeds. This creates a single integrated air defense network that stretches from the Gulf of Finland to the Black Sea. For Russia, this means that any aerial movement along the border is instantly visible, tracked, and ready to be engaged. It's a complete reversal from the early 2000s, when Baltic air defenses were almost non-existent and dependent entirely on Allied rotations. Today, Estonia's radar eyes never blink, but Estonia didn't stop there. It began experimenting with advanced drone and counter-drone warfare. Estonian engineers working with Western defense contractors have deployed thousands of small, autonomous drones capable of both surveillance and attack. These drones can coordinate with larger systems, sharing real-time targeting data with ground-based missile batteries and mobile anti-air systems. It's a level of integration that makes traditional Russian tactics such as saturation bombing or low-altitude attack runs incredibly risky. The Estonian sky has become layered with invisible defense grids, digital traps, and coordinated strike points that can respond faster than any human pilot. In addition, Estonia invested in electronic warfare, one of the most critical tools in modern combat. Using advanced jamming technology and signal interception systems, Estonia can now disrupt Russian drones, aircraft communications, and even radar signals. This effectively blinds the enemy while allowing Estonian defenses to operate freely. NATO experts have praised Estonia for adapting lessons from Ukraine's battlefield, especially the role of electronic countermeasures. The Estonian model now serves as a blueprint for how smaller nations can neutralize much larger threats through technology and innovation. Perhaps the most surprising part of this transformation is how rapidly Estonia achieved it. Within just 2 years, Estonia transitioned from a relatively modest defense posture to one of the most technologically advanced air defense grids in Europe. It did so by focusing on partnerships with Finland for radar integration, with the UK for missile defense systems, and with the United States for real-time data sharing. The result is that Estonia now operates as an extension of NATO's wider strategic shield. Any threat detected in its airspace is instantly relayed across the alliance network, triggering coordinated responses within seconds. Estonia's skies are not only defended by technology, they're also protected by readiness. The Estonian Air Force, though small, is now one of the best trained in NATO relative to its size. Pilots undergo joint training with U.S. and British squadrons, and air defense officers work directly inside NATO command centers. This integration ensures that Estonia's defense systems are not isolated but seamlessly linked into the broader European air defense strategy. It's not just about shooting down enemy aircraft. It's about ensuring that no surprise attack can ever succeed again. What makes this development even more important is its strategic symbolism. Russia has long viewed the Baltic region as its vulnerable flank, an area where NATO might struggle to respond quickly. But now, with Estonia's new capabilities, that assumption is obsolete. Any Russian attempt to test NATO's airspace here would trigger a chain reaction of defense measures that Moscow cannot easily counter. For a nation of just over 1.3 million people, Estonia's ability to stand firm and project strength on this level is nothing short of remarkable. Behind this progress lies a strong sense of national unity. Estonia has made defense a societal effort. Every citizen understands the threat from across the border, and this awareness fuels innovation and resilience. The country's tech sector, already famous for producing global startups, has pivoted to defense technologies. Artificial intelligence algorithms now help predict potential air threats, analyze radar patterns, and optimize missile interception trajectories. Estonia is proving that national defense in the 21st century isn't just about manpower, it's about brainpower. Russia, on the other hand, is watching all of this with growing concern. Military analysts in Moscow have openly admitted that Estonia's integration with NATO surveillance networks severely limits Russia's freedom of movement in the Baltic region. Even Russian pilots have reported that flying near Estonian airspace has become increasingly dangerous, as Western radar systems can now detect and lock onto targets faster than before. This new environment has forced Russia to shift its flight patterns, often rerouting missions further inland to avoid triggering defensive responses. One of the most significant recent upgrades came when Estonia deployed the U.S.-made NASAMS air defense system, capable of intercepting aircraft, drones, and cruise missiles. Combined with short-range defense layers like the IRIS-T and indigenous drone swarms, Estonia has effectively created a kill zone that few aircraft could survive. The moment an intruder is detected, the network calculates its trajectory, assigns it a threat level, and automatically prepares countermeasures. The speed of response is so high that analysts describe it as machine-speed warfare, a concept where AI and automation outpace human decision-making. To complement this, Estonia has also invested in long-range artillery systems and precision missile units. These aren't meant for offense but to deter Russian forces from even considering a preemptive strike. Estonia's defense doctrine focuses on immediate response if an attack begins. Counterfire begins within minutes. Every radar contact, every unidentified drone, every approaching aircraft is part of a pre-mapped scenario. Estonia's skies are not random, they are scripted for defense. Another crucial element is cooperation with Finland and Sweden. Since both have joined NATO, the entire northern flank has turned into a coordinated defense corridor. Estonia's radar systems connect directly to Finnish command centers across the Gulf of Finland, giving both nations overlapping coverage. This means that any Russian aircraft leaving St. Petersburg airspace is tracked by multiple NATO sensors almost instantly. Sweden's advanced air forces add another protective layer, making the Baltic Sea almost a NATO-controlled zone. This regional unity is what makes Estonia's defense not just national, but continental. The psychological impact of Estonia's transformation cannot be overstated. For decades, Russia relied on intimidation and airspace violations to demonstrate dominance. Now those same tactics backfire. Every time a Russian jet approaches the Estonian border, it faces a wall of radar locks, missile guidance signals, and electronic interference. The message is clear: these skies are no longer open for provocation. Estonia's defenses have turned fear into deterrence, and that shift changes everything for regional stability. There's also a deeper political layer to this. By creating such a strong air defense network, Estonia has elevated its strategic importance within NATO. It's no longer seen as just a small ally needing protection, but as a frontline state actively contributing to the alliance's security. This boosts Estonia's influence in NATO decision-making, ensuring that Baltic concerns are no longer overlooked. In diplomatic terms, Estonia has secured its place as a critical pillar of Europe's defense architecture. It's important to remember that this transformation came at a cost. Estonia dedicates over 3% of its GDP to defense, one of the highest rates in NATO. That's a heavy burden for a small economy, but the government sees it as an investment in survival. The citizens support this wholeheartedly, knowing that freedom and sovereignty have a price. The war in Ukraine reinforced this understanding. The cost of unpreparedness is far greater. Estonia is determined never to repeat the lessons of history when small nations were left vulnerable to larger aggressors. As part of its ongoing modernization, Estonia is also working on next-generation defense projects. These include laser-based air defense weapons, autonomous drones capable of electronic jamming, and hybrid radar systems that can detect stealth aircraft. The vision is to stay ahead of any potential threat, to evolve faster than Russia can adapt. This mindset of constant innovation is what keeps Estonia's defense edge razor-sharp. Beyond technology, Estonia's approach is also strategic in communication. Its defense ministry frequently releases transparent updates, showing readiness without revealing classified details. This transparency builds confidence among allies and sends a clear signal to adversaries. Estonia's message to the world is that deterrence is not about secrecy, but about strength and confidence in capability. Looking at the broader picture, Estonia's sky transformation is part of a larger NATO evolution. The alliance has learned that security in the 21st century isn't just about numbers, but networks. Estonia's model, interconnected, intelligent, and instantly reactive, represents the future of defense in Europe. It demonstrates how small states can become key players through innovation, cooperation, and determination. For Russia, this new reality presents a dilemma. Any attempt to intimidate or test Estonia's defenses risks immediate exposure and potential escalation. The old days of easy border provocations are over. Estonia's skies have become an invisible fortress, where technology and unity create an impenetrable defense shield. In the end, Estonia's achievement is not just military, it's symbolic of resilience. It proves that even in the shadow of a powerful neighbor, a nation can build its own security through courage and intellect. Estonia's skies, once vulnerable, are now a deadly trap for any invader. The lesson is clear. In modern warfare, innovation can outweigh intimidation. And as Estonia continues to refine its defenses, it stands as a shining example for every small nation facing a larger threat, that with vision, unity, and technology, even the smallest country can turn its skies into a shield no enemy dares to cross.